What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Everything O.G. My name is Deviant the Digger, Mr. Everything O.G.
I'm Building Block, aka B-Dub.
Yep, yes, sir. And check this out, y'all. We got a very special treat for you Everything O.G. fans today. Today, we're going to dive right into the legacy and the career of DJ Premier, aka Primo, one of our favorite producers of all time in the history of hip-hop. And as you know, anyone who knows DJ Premier knows that he definitely dug in the crates throughout his whole career. Basically, it's too many samples to name and songs to name that he's produced and stuff like that for us to go through all of them or even tell you our top 5. But we're going to just try to touch on some of our favorite samples that he's flipped and brought to the game. So without further ado, let's get right into DJ Premier's legacy. Here we go. Mr. B-Dub, what's your first favorite DJ Premier sample flip?
My first favorite DJ Premier sample flip is from the album Let's Do It Again by the Fatback Band, Baby I Want You.
What is that?
Mathematics by Mos Def.
Oh, that's the Mathematics thing?
This is the Mathematics sample.
What?
I first heard Mathematics when I moved to California. The first weekend I was here in California, came on Sway and Tech show. And we were in the parking lot at the party in Mel's Diner off of Sunset.
Wow.
And it came on, and I was hooked on that song ever since. I mean, just that was the perfect marriage. Ill-ass beat, crazy drums, vocal samples, and Mos Def spitting some serious shit. And that sample was just...
that little crazy noise in there, that wow.
Just the doo-doo-doo. Down.
Yeah.
It was just funky, and then just him busting. It's just fond memories, man.
That's way up there for you on the DJ Premier sample flips.
That's one of my favorite ones.
And also, did you know, little DJ Premier anecdote? I heard Premier once say that that Scarface wanted to take that beat from Mos Def. But he couldn't get it. But Scarface heard before Mos Def got it.
I don't know if Scarface could have did it justice like Mos Def did. But we'll never know.
We'll never know. Up in the game for me is my what we're gonna do first for me. I'm gonna keep it in the gangster situation first. It's Buddy Rich. Y'all see that joint right there, Buddy Rich. And the album's called Buddy Rich Big Band, recorded live in Hollywood at the Whiskey A Go Go. And Premier, he flipped some ill drums on this album, and it was basically the focal point of his beat. Basically, it was just the drums. And it's the first song on the Gangsta Daily Operation, and the song was called A Place Where We Dwell. That's the name of the song, the Gangstar song. And it's some ill drums from the song called Love and Peace on here. And it's like a real big bandy type drums, but they work though. They work for what he wanted to do. It worked for hip hop for some crazy music, because I really don't like big bandy type drums when I'm doing beats, but somehow he got on the rock. And this is definitely a dope sample from DJ Premier, one of my favorites. And I love that Daily Operation album, and I thought it started the album off really nicely. What you got next, young B-Dub?
From Roy Ayers' Ubiquity, Change of the Groove album, we have the song Sensitize, which is the sample flip for J. Rue the Damages' Mental Stamina, featuring Afu Ra. Oh, man, son. That flip right there. Another one where he just takes the most simplest piece and stretches it out and makes a full-course meal out of it.
Wow.
It reminds me of, his technique on that reminds me how he flipped Bob James for The Question Remains, which I meant to pull, but I forgot. Because that was my favorite back in the 90s, man. But Sensitized, man, I love that sample, man. He freaked that, man.
That was killer. That was one of the dopest songs on that J. Rue album, too. Next up in the game for me is going to be Chili Man right here. And this is one of my favorite DJ Premier sample flips, because it was something that you really had to listen to the whole album to catch the Chili Man album, because the clip that he uses at the very, very end of this album. And, if you wasn't like if you just flipping around, you may have not heard it, but he might have just listened to the whole album and was like, "Oh my god," because
I think with that sample,
uh,
he took sampling to another level
uh,
because that's really just a sound, just a bunch of sound.
yeah, just the
And
sound.
he showed right there.
But
I
what
could take this.
and for those that don't know, this is J. Rue the Damage to Come Clean.
He took that
Uh,
and what sounded just like Chinese water torture
exactly.
and made the hip hop rugged anthem
Yep, but that
of
summer.
'93.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
You know,
And it was a big record a big record for DJ Premier's career and J. Rue's career. He definitely gave him a banger to start his career off with. And like I said, this is Shelly Mankind. The song is called Infinity. Infinity on here. And that song, like I said, is just a bunch of sounds. It's basically like an interlude on this Shelly Man album.
Like the outro.
Yeah. And it comes at the very, very end of the album. And like I said, you know, he just caught it and he flipped it. And it's definitely on my favorite DJ Premier samples of all time. Mr. B Dub, what you got next, man?
My next favorite is from the Gangstar, The Planet. Music by Steve Davis.
Yep.
Oh man, I heard that song, and the way he chopped that. You know, Primo is a master of taking like bits and pieces and, like I said, stretching it out. And this one right here, get this album, you definitely won't be disappointed.
Definitely not. That's a dope one right there. I don't even know if I had that one in my collection yet. Let me scoop that up. Let's see. You know what? Since we still talking, we're still on Gangstar, and that's from the Hard to Earn album, right? The Planet. Since we on the
I
Hard.
can't remember, man.
Since we on Hard to Earn, I think it is.
You're probably right. That's the one with the red.
Yeah.
The red cover.
Yeah, with Mass Appeal on there.
Yeah.
And since we on Hard to Earn, this is Sidney Poitier Lost Man movie soundtrack. Quincy Jones is doing the musical composing on this album, The Lost Man. And Primo caught a little ill clip on here that was so dope. It was ill because like it's a little bass line with like one of those crazy little noises in it. And he used this for the Gangstar song called "I'm the Man." Excuse me, actually no, I'm not man. He used it for Speak Your Clout. Speak Your Clout, which was the second "I'm the Man," basically.
Yeah.
And Speak Your Clout has like 3 different beats, just like "I'm the Man" had.
Yeah.
And he has 3 different beats and 3 different MCs on each different beat. So J. Rue raps on one beat, and then Little Dap from Group Home raps on one beat, and then Guru raps on one beat. So this is the beat that Lil Dap rapped on, and it's just the ill bass line. I remember when the Hard to Earn album came out, and everybody's banging that album when it first came out, but everyone was talking about that sample that came in, because no one at the time knew what it was.
Yeah.
And it was like, dum, 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 dum. And I was like, wow, what is that? And as soon as we found out, everybody ran to the record store, to the soundtrack section,
Lost Man.
and scooped this up, man. So shout out to Primo for finding that little bass line clip on here, man. That was dope. And it's one of my favorite that he's ever touched. No doubt about it. What you got, man?
Since we talk about soundtracks, I have 2 soundtracks to make it one of my favorite Primo songs from Premier. And that's for Big L, Fat Joe, The Enemy. We have The Learning Tree by Gordon Parks. And this I just discovered Sunday, The Naked Ape. The Naked Ape is actually another Gangstar sample on this.
Half and half.
But the one that rocked my mind was the spoken intro. What would you do if an enemy is coming at you? And that is part of the song The Enemy with Big L. And the way he freaked from storm to calm for the enemy, man.
On the Naked Ape, right?
No, Storm to Calm is on the Learning Tree. He just used the
word samples on the Naked Ape.
Yeah, the word sample is from the Naked Ape.
Right.
I'm not sure I can't remember what song,
but he has another, like you said, another Gangstar sample on his Naked Ape too for Half and Half, which was the Gangstar song on the Blade soundtrack.
Okay.
That was dope too.
I thought it was on The Moment of Truth. No, what's the last?
No,
What's the album after The Owners?
No, it wasn't on The Owners. It was on the Blade soundtrack. Yes, that's the only way you get it. It was on the Blade soundtrack, the Wesley Snipes movie. Word up, word up. All right, so let me do it like this. Let me go to a classic. A classic. And that's this right here, Cameo. From the She's Strange album. And the song is called Hanging Downtown. And this was one of my favorite DJ Premier records ever.
Who did he flip it for?
Group Home. The song's called Superstar. And man, as that when I remember that single first came out, man, I was like, oh my God. He gave them a monster.
Man.
And it was crazy is, and no shade, but maybe take it a shade if you want to. Group Home not that dope as the rappers.
They're the best rappers.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? they pretty much suck, and everybody know that.
Let's cut that out, man. Come on, man. We ain't here to give our opinions of their skills, man. We just here to talk about our favorite Premier flips, man.
But
well, let me cut him off, man. The Group Home album was such
classic,
a great notch in Premier's discography because that was one of the first groups that he helmed the whole LP outside of Gangstar.
Yeah.
And really, like he says in the beginning intro, let's get this right. I am the star of the show. And on that album, he showed his mastery of flipping samples. Not only did he flip Cameo for the intro cut, he took a slow jazzy number by the great Wes Montgomery. Yesterday by the Beatles, and flipped it into the greatest intro of all time. I mean, when that came out and I found out what it was, I rushed to find this and I played the song back to back to back to back for hours on end, just thinking, man, how did he come up with it's just a loop. He didn't really do any chopping. He just caught a little part of the thing, added some drums to it, but right there in that simplicity is just so soulful and it just grabs you. And it's like you don't even want to hear nobody rhyme over it. Like years later, Jay Electronica rhymed on it and did it some justice. But that intro, Yesterday, Wes Montgomery.
For the Group Home?
Group Home intro.
Classic. That, along with this Cameo, She's Strange album for a Superstar, one of my favorite DJ Premier records of all time.
You got another Group Home joining them?
Yeah, I do actually.
And also, Premier was good for like taking like obscure soul pieces or whatever and making cool little intros out of them.
Yep, and it don't always have to be soul pieces either. It could be this one right here. This is Benny Murray. This is a Latin record, and he used a little tiny clip off here for an interlude that he did for the Group Home album.
Yeah.
And
what was that in between songs? That was in between.
It was after Superstar. And right before Up Against the Wall.
Yeah.
And this right here, Benny Murray, is a real ill sample that he flipped for interlude. And Premier always did some dope interludes.
And speaking of Up Against the Wall, here is the sample, the album that they grabbed the sample from for Up Against the Wall.
Not Up Against the Wall. Actually, this is what's Spinning the Time. So Spinning the Time is the incredible one. I'll go back. Up Against the Wall is As the Case. And the remix is Young Heart Unlimited. And this is Spending the Time.
Okay, Suspending Time. Suspending Time. Speaking of the Group Home, on the Incredible Bongo Band's second LP, The Return Of, we have the song Pipeline, and from Pipeline we have the sample for Suspended in Time by the Group Home. Like I said, on that LP, Primo really stretched his chops on that and
he went beyond the Call of Duty.
You know, he really he showed his growth, that, you know, the future that he had, where he was going, where he was coming from. And you know, I have to say in the 90s, Premier was like hip hop. Like you look up hip hop producer in the dictionary, and there was DJ Premier. He would take, like he said, the most regular of songs, Cameo, and freak it to something like you'd have to like, what is this? How did he find these parts to put this together?
And how did we not catch it?
You know,
he did, but he had that ear though. You know, so it's all good. Speaking of I just let I left off with a group home interlude, and like I try to say, Primo was always good for doing a few dope interludes on all his albums, the Gangstar albums, the group home albums, the J. Rue albums. So this was a dope interlude that he did for Gangstar, Grover Washington Jr., and it was called "Lock It in the Pocket," and it's an interlude that comes on the Hard to Earn album, and it's almost like a breakbeat basically the way he used it. He also used another part of that same song for the Gangster album, A Daily Operation, a song called I Flipped the Script. With the LL Cool J
like
word
this
sample.
y'all,
Yeah.
This y'all,
But I like the way he used it as a breakbeat though on the Hard to Earn album. It was like do do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought that was dope. You know what I'm saying? So that was a dope interlude by him, and also he kept a lot of interludes going with this right here is the intro. Since you're speaking of intros, to the Step Into the Arena album, and this is the originals. Check it out, the originals. Yes, sir, yes, sir. The originals, and this is albums. The fantasy interlude on here is the interlude for Gangstar. And it's the DJ's name is Premier, and I'm the Guru, and that's the intro to Step Into the Arena. And then also one obscure, like you say, obscure tip, even though it's a very common record. This is Tom Jones, live in Las Vegas. Small tiny minuscule, you know what I mean, clip on here that he used for an interlude on the Step Into the Arena album. And it's a real small clip that he used. He just flipped it though, and I don't even know how he caught that on this record. But once you hear it when you play it, you're like, oh my god! I mean, so yeah, Tom Jones live in Las Vegas. There's some just obscure DJ Premier interlude, and then one last interlude from Primo, real quick. Mother Load. Had to borrow this from my man B Dub. It's his copy, because I can't find mine. But Tapped Out, and this is the intro. Speaking of intros, like you said, to the Daily Operation album. You know what I'm saying? And he flipped the hell out of this because he had to chop it up a little bit because it's kind of off.
I forgot Eddie Hazel.
Take two and pass. But we gonna do part two. But Mother Load, this is it. Tapped Out, the intro to the Daily Operation album. Dope, Mr. B Dub, what you got, man?
Another one of my favorite intro songs. Premier was gaining a reputation in the 90s of having that intro song that set your album off. And he perfected that with Rockefeller. And on Jay-Z's third album...
Yeah, Hard Knock Life.
Hard Knock Life? Was it Hard Knock Life?
Yeah, Hard Knock Life.
No, it was
Hard Knock Life. It was the intro to Hard Knock Life. Memphis Bleak did the whole intro.
Yeah.
Because it was called Waiting for My Day to... Well, it was Waiting for My Day to Come was the word sample. Basically, he was saying Bleak's up next.
Yeah, I can't remember. I guess I keep thinking it was Volume 3, but if it was
Volume 3 was the Steve Cropper.
3, So Ghetto. Wow.
Yeah, so Volume 2.
Wow.
Yeah, Volume 2, Hard Knock Life was the Four Tops.
Well, it was Johnny Pate soundtrack for Shaft in Africa. And the Four Tracks performed on the song Are You Man Enough? But the way he chopped this up and freaked this, I just had to go find that sample and hear that album. Because that really twisted my head when I heard that.
Nice.
And speaking of Steve Cropper with A Hard Knock Life, Volume 3, Steve Cropper, Crop Dusting, the beginning intro part for So Ghetto.
Yep, like an interlude almost.
Well, it was the intro because he started off and then the song creeped in, so I wouldn't call that an interlude. Also, Primo, I think KRS-One was really the first artist outside of Guru that Primo gained outside production credits for.
Basically, one of the first. I mean, he wasn't the first, but he was the first that basically got that Primo was allowed to do a lot of songs for.
I forgot the damn
He pretty
Clifford
much.
Brown.
He pretty much.
Ah. Damn, it's so many to remember and shit. But off of one song on this might have been on a Sex and Violence LP though.
No, it wasn't. It was a Return to Boom Bap.
Wasn't a Return to Boom Bap?
Yeah.
Higher Ground.
Higher Level.
Higher Level by KRS-One. This song sampled Gene Page. What is the name of this song? Yeah. The song Blackula Strikes on here was a sample for Higher Ground.
Higher Level.
Higher Level by KRS-One. And my favorite primo sample flip was from the Sheba Baby soundtrack. Another Monk Higgins was A Good Man Is Gone. And that was on the Moment of Truth album.
That's right.
What was that song?
The song was called Better Luck Next Time.
Better Luck Next Time, yeah.
Well, let me see what my next up is since we're on a Moment of Truth situation real quick. This is Joe Simon. Know what I mean? And the song he used on here is called Drowning in the Sea of Love.
Oh, that was a new way to chop songs.
Yep, and he flipped this for a song called You Know My Steez.
You Know My Steez.
On the Moment of Truth album.
The way he used space and silence.
Man.
Because, rap up to that point, everything was full. He really got into his minimalism with this song and that album. Like, just giving the beat room to breathe. Space to hear.
And he killed it too, because like the way he made the guitar, like, you know what I mean, like the way the guitars was just in sync like that was crazy. And this is definitely one of the best Gangstar songs of all time in my opinion. And this is one of my favorite DJ Premier sample flips ever. I mean, he was really in his, like you say, in his groove, in his bag on this one, and he just really just went overboard and just tore Joe Simon to pieces.
I'm gonna say that was his apex after the Moment of Truth. After that, it started to go downhill. Like the Owners
is dope.
It's all right,
but
it didn't have the energy. I guess at that time people started catching up to what he was doing, and the magic was lost. But right before that magic was lost, when he came out with Big L, rest in peace. Boom, boom. Bam, bam, bam. That sample came courtesy of Cal Jader Sounds Out Burt Bacharach. Cal Jader's cover of Walk On By became full clip. And man, if he wasn't firing at a full clip when he made this, the chops on this, the way he chopped it, this right here is my favorite Premier flip ever. Ever.
Wow.
Man.
I liked it. Wasn't my favorite, but I liked it though. It was dope.
That and Guru's Rhymes, I think that might have been my favorite Gangstar song, period.
Wow.
Just Big L, rest in peace. Because when that comes on, you know what's coming on after that. It needs you running to the dance floor. Big L, rest in peace. You're there, you bobbing. Boom, 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 bam, bam, bam. And then it also began the kind of a little stutter shit he did at the end, the turnaround. Like, he started to overdo that. Like on, what's that song Royce 5'9" did?
Royce got many songs that premiere.
Yeah, but what's the one that we doing?
You talking about Boom?
Yeah, he did that.
Yeah,
he started to go overboard with that shit.
Yeah, this is I don't know about that, but Mark Hannibal Boom is Royce the 5'9" Boom sample, like he said, is on this Mark Hannibal album, and man, it's a dope record.
Because then if you get too predictable, they know what you're coming with, and that's when you got to change it up.
But this was a dope Royce the 5'9" song, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't saying it's not a dope song, but just that stutter shit was like, okay, man, whatever batch of beats that came from, you've overdone it. Let's go to a new batch now.
Yeah, well, I thought that was dope. But anyway, yeah, so if you can pick up this Mark Hamill record, if you see it in the record store, it has the Royce the 5'9" Boom sample. And speaking of Premier, like, freelance stuff, since he did the Royce the 5'9", every now and then Primo would, like, step out of the Gangstar family or the KRS-One situation where he did a whole project, and do a remix for somebody. And this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, DJ Premier remix ever. And that's Showbiz and AG.
The Nighttime remix.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. And the Showbiz and AG remix is dope because, like, and after this Maynard Ferguson record called Conquistador. And
The Next Level was the song.
Next Level was the name of the song, but here's the crazy thing about this is that everybody has this Maynard Ferguson record.
You see that in every thrift store, dollar bin.
I mean, this is like one of the most common records ever.
But I don't know if it was common in the 90s. I mean, it's common now.
It is very common.
In the 90s.
Very common. I mean, I see this record almost every day today still.
Yeah, I mean, it's common, but I don't remember the 90s being that common.
And as soon as that little groove comes on, boom,
he could take some smooth jazz and make it hard and shit, man.
But what's crazy about this remix for Next Level by Showbiz and AG is for years I never knew what the drums were. And plus the way he started the drums, because like it was kind of off a little bit, but I think they was off because the way they sent him the mix, the vocals, it was like off in the timing, so I think he had to do that. But anyway, the way those drums come in still was so smacking, and like I was like, what drums are those? For years I never knew, and then all of a sudden, like not too long ago, I was watching this video on YouTube or something like that, and someone's playing this little drum clip, and I was like, what is? Oh, is that the Showbiz and AG sample? Oh man! So I found out that they told me what it was on the clip. So I had to go down to my local record store, man. I found this reissue of this Asapoli record just to take it to the house. I know this is Everything O.G. But sometimes you gotta double check some stuff.
We do not condone the buying of reissues.
But I had to go ahead and buy the reissue of this because I had to go double check and make sure these was the drums for real. So these are the drums for the Next Level remix with the Maynard Ferguson, and dope. Premier, you went in on this one. Dope remix, my favorite of your Premier remixes. What you got next week, Dub?
I'm gonna take it back to when he first started working with Jay-Z, and I like to join on there called Friend and Foe, Friend of Foe.
Yeah, and
that sample for Friend and Foe was from Brother to Brother in the Bottle. And it's the song called Hey, What's That You Say? What's funny is that Hey, What's That You Say kind of has the same lyrics as Skull Snaps, It's a New Day.
Really?
Yes. But they start off the same way. Hey, what's that you say? It's a new day. This does the same.
Wow.
So, I mean, it doesn't have the same drums as Skull Snaps on it, but,
what if it did, though?
Yeah, that would be ill. But, you know, I don't know who bid who or...
By the way, Primo used Skull Snaps drums before, too.
Yeah, he...
For
Substitution, all those. He got busy on those, but, you know...
Word up. That's a dope... That's a dope pick. It's
really just a loop. It's not nothing too much he did crazy on it, but it's just funky, little horn funk, the nice little.
You got a lot of the Jay-Z joints today. He's my favorite rapper. I had no Jay-Z primo in my bag.
Oh, I mean, since we speaking on Jay-Z and Jay-Z affiliates, you know, Sauce Money, who was on the Reasonable album, he came out with his own LP, and Primo laced him as well, and from. The Watts 103rd Street. Yeah, that's the name of it, Soul in the Hole. But it's also on Middle Finger U too. The Watts 103rd Street Rhythm Band and the Jungle Babe. That album is a song called Common. And from that, you got the Sauce Money joint, which was, the song was called Against the Grain by Sauce Money that they sampled. Another, you know,
Primo banger.
He slowed it down, and it starts off, watch out for your friends. And it was like, wow, he just made a slow banger. Now I could see Scarface on that one. You know.
That's dope, man. After the Gangstar group came out with the Moment of Truth album, they came out with another album called The Owners.
Yeah, that shit.
Some people didn't like it, some people did like it.
It was whack.
But it was dope. But here's the thing though. Whether you liked it or not.
The thing was Primo's sound was hi-hats. When he took away the hi-hats, the drums lost the
Well, I mean, he said he took it away on purpose, but for sure though, everybody that knows that whether you like the album or not, love that song called "Deadly Habits," and this is the record right here from Deadly Habits. It's a Bhutan music.
How did Deadly Habits go? I can't remember.
It starts off like da 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 da. Little ill. It was still the way he chopped it up.
I put that out of my mind.
You know what I'm saying? And Deadly Habits from the Bruton Music Jingles Volume 4 LP. And you know, I mean, it's kind of hard to see, but
I forgot
the song Beverly Hills is the joint that he used for Deadly Habits, and it's one of my favorite DJ Premier flips. Yes, sir.
Going back to the Moment of Truth LP, we have the Many Grooves of Barbara Lewis, which from that album, The Windmills of Your Mind, Primo chopped up masterfully and expertly to make Into the Militia, starring Freddie Fox.
Going back to the Hard to Earn album here. You know what that is, right? Clarence Miller and the Enforcers, Doing What We Wanna. Hey Jude is the name of the song that Premier used for The Wick. And this is one of the biggest gangster records of all time. And
I would say it's the biggest Nice and Smooth album of all time, too. Well, no, I can't front on that. They had a hip hop. You know, they had a few hits and shit.
But no, I mean, yeah, it is one of the biggest records. But
that's what made it a hit, man.
You know
just because you never expected Guru to rhyme with Nice and Smooth.
Yeah, never.
And then the video is what took it to the next level.
Yeah, the video was dope.
They was on the beach with the models.
Yep.
Guru had on the what is that? Who made those? The 5-5 soul hats.
Yep.
It was just that was a 92.
Yeah, that was dope. 92.
Man.
So if you're out there in a record store, scoop out this record right here. Clarence Miller and the Enforcers has the Dwick sample in there, which is one of the biggest gangster songs ever. And it's a dope bass line.
And he chopped it pretty nice because
dope.
You know it's like a little stutter.
Yeah.
And it's a little fast.
Yeah, actually, I think Diamond D used it too before he did, but Diamond D song wasn't as big as you know what I mean.
Yeah, he did use it.
His wasn't as big as Primo's.
But he more looped it. Primo chopped it, you know, and gave it that bounce. And I forgot what drums he used, the substitution drums with it. Yep.
What you got next, man?
I'm gonna go on a little Illmatic roll. You know. I'm gonna start it off with my favorite song on Illmatic was Represent. But that was because I had the bootleg cassette when it came out. And it was a nice, you know, little rolling bass line on there. Then when the album came out, imagine my surprise when that song was on there, but not the version I was accustomed to. Now, the version that we're accustomed to uses the Lee Irwin sample from The Thief of Baghdad, which you see right here. But the original Represent used a nice little rolling bass line break from Ramon Morris. And I believe it's the same song that Big Pun used for You Came Up.
Right, it is.
Oh, what's the name?
It's just later.
Is it Don't Ask Me? Or is it
I believe so.
Yeah, whatever the song name is. But he used that. And that little rolling bass line with Nas's flow was just perfection. I still go back and just play that part, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Lee Irwin Represent is nice, but that one to me, that was the business.
What else you got in that little stack?
And also, I think Premier being the first opening song, he brought it. You know, I don't know how he came up with the idea to use Blackbird, but that, you know, that combined with the Joe Chambers Mind Rain and the Flight Time intro, plane taking off, and the pianos, it's like, you know, one good thing about Primo, you won't go broke trying to find his samples. He used easy to reach, easy to find joints, you know, from CTI, Blue Note, you know. He didn't really go too rare or too expensive. I only have a few cases where he did, you know, really get, the records were kind of pricey that he might have used, but he just took stuff, man, that you could see in your dad's collection, your mom's collection, and he freaked it in such a way that made you just feel like, man. But, you know.
And what's this one right here? What's this one?
That one we have We're in Love, which became
Memory Lane.
Memory Lane for Nas. And
that's a dope little organ sample.
Yeah, the jazz, the soulful jazz that song exudes. You know, he caught the right part.
And actually, Nas helped pick this sample out from what I've heard because he liked the way this dude looked on the cover. Like with the afro and just sitting down with the crazy jacket, you know what I'm saying? The cool 70s jacket.
Well, what I read is they was teasing them about like, yo, dude looks crazy ill. And it's like, yo, they was giving him slack for using it. Then he pulled a sample on. They were like, oh, shit. You know?
Word up. Well, let me take it back to another classic from the Moment of Truth album. This is John Dankworth. And this is what DJ Premier used for Above the Clouds.
Ooh.
Above the Clouds on the Moment of Truth album, where it's featuring Inspector Deck. And man, that sample was so ill because when I first heard that beat come in on that when I listened to that Moment of Truth album, I was like, oh my God, where do you find that?
Yeah.
And the way he flipped it and chopped this up was crazy. And once again, this is John Dankworth. The album's called The $1,000 Collection. And I definitely recommend you scoop it up if you collect Premier samples. It shouldn't be too hard to find. But I must admit I haven't seen it lately.
I saw it about a month ago.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It had a different cover, but the song was on there.
Okay. Well, yeah, scoop it up. And this is one of my favorite DJ Premier samples of all time. The way he flipped this for Inspector Deck and Guru was just amazing, man. Just the whole arrangement with the way the drums kick in and the little bass note he kicked in on there underneath was sick. Yeah. And then just, man, and then the Guru's rhymes on there. You know, coming with the Self-Lord and Master. You know what I mean? It's just crazy.
He killed it.
And then, yeah, so this is one of my favorite records that DJ Premier has ever flipped in the history of his career. John Dankworth.
I got one last one, heavyweight. And this one is an example of Premier actually using something that's going to be a little pricey for you to find. And that's Soul. S-O-U-L. Can You Feel It? And he used... He used, that's S-O-U-L, Can You Feel It? Peace of Mind for M.O.P. Roll Call.
Word up. And I think I'm almost done with my little steady stack here, but let me take it back real quick. Only the Shaw. This is DJ Premier used this on the Step Into the Arena album.
That was the favorite song on Step to Arena.
Check the technique.
The way he
check the technique, see if you can follow it.
And that's when he, you know, that was a message to other producers because at that time, the way he chopped those drums and isolated them, they weren't doing that in rap music like that.
Yeah, you know, this is a dope record right here. The song's called California Soul. And that's actually one of my favorite songs, period, of all time, California Soul. I don't know whose version I like better, like her version or Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell's version. I'm really tough. It's a tough one, but
yeah.
but either way.
Who used the Marvin Gaye version?
I don't know who used it.
Somebody used it. I can't remember.
I know that Nick Ashford and Simpson wrote the song.
Yeah,
and it's probably one of the best songs they ever wrote.
Well, it ain't better than
Ain't the Mon High Enough?
Not that one. What's the one that Meth and Mary we did? You're all.
Oh yeah, that was a good one too.
I need to get by.
Well, you would say California Soul is in the top 5 Ashford and Simpson written songs, right? You would say it's in the top 5? No. What?
No. You got You're All I Need to Get By.
It's in the top 5. Come on.
Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
It's better than that.
And then you got the songs on that album.
What, Solid as a Rock?
Solid. Yeah.
California Soul's a way better song than Solid as a Rock.
No. How many people you hear? Where did California Soul chart at?
I don't care about the chart.
Well, that's what measures whether a song is good and not where it charts at. Not what you personally think. I personally think all these other songs that didn't chart are great, but what does the public say? Hey.
The public says that California Soul is one of the best
songs
ever made. That's what it says.
The underground public that don't buy records that sample.
And Nick yielded one of the best Gangstar songs ever.
The underground public, the record buying public, and people who have great taste say, hey, it's an okay song, but...
Word up. And I'm going to end it off with this, too. This is Paul Horn, and it's the very last song that DJ Premier used on the Moment of Truth album. Once again, like he said, the Moment of Truth album, probably the best gangster album. It's almost unanimous. But this is a song called "In Memory Of" was the name of the song on the Gangster album.
Oh, with all the rest
loop,
in peace.
Yeah, this is the loop that DJ Premier used for that as the outro. So we thought that was pretty dope. So, like I said, it's too many to name. I mean, it's too many songs, too many records to go through. We may have to do part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on Primo. But just to get you,
I think he's gonna send the goons out there.
You know what I mean? But to get
we violated.
But to get you started, though, this is some of the nicest of the Premier stack that we had. So, anyway, my name is Deviant the Digger, Mr. Everything O.G, and
I'm Building Block B Double, aka B Dub.
Yes, sir.
And
yes,
again,
sir.
You know, thank you for watching. We appreciate you. Leave some comments. Check us out on IG. We might play some clips from our selections to refresh your memory and your mind.
Yep.
And again, thank you for joining us on Everything OG. It's been a stone blast.